Today we're going to learn about getting started with documenting your designs in ltspice. Creating clear and easy to understand figures is one of the most important skills to have in your career. In fact, I was checking my Facebook account this morning and one of my former students was showing off some of the great documentation he did for linear technology, and I was so proud to see those figures. So it's not enough to make clear documentation, but you have to be able to document things quickly. You can't take forever. Well, a degree from San Jose State will prepare you for that because you have to write many lab reports, so you'll be able to do that quite well. Now, ltspice is a great way to document your work because the schematics are so easily portable. I can be having a problem and I can email it to you, or you can email it to me, and we can rapidly agree as to what's working and what's not. Now, you do have to make sure that in your reports that the waveform matches the schematic. Nothing's worse than having a figure that couldn't possibly have created a waveform. All right. And then one last thing is that the default settings are kind of hard to read in ltspice. And so I'm going to show you how to just set them to the settings I use for course notes. So the first thing you want to do is set the background of your schematic to white. It saves on your printer and it's a lot easier to read. So you go to the toolbar, color preferences, and up pops this color palette, and you can click on schematic and then click on background and set everything to full on, and that's white. Click apply and then OK. You can do that again, but this time we want to set the wires all to black, which is 0, 0, 0. And for junctions, we want to set them to black as well, 0, 0, 0. That way we'll have a nice, consistent, easy to plot out figures. Now for the waveforms, we want to set those backgrounds to white as well. And so it's the same thing, color preferences, but instead of clicking on the schematic tab, we'll click on the waveform tab. We click on background and we set those all to full on, which will be white. I do sometimes go in and change some of the colors of the waveforms when I really want a black and white or something, but for homework and color printing, these colors are fine. Now, some more things we need to do is in the control panel, we want to set plot data with thick lines and change the font to Arial 14 bold. Seems to work well for me. So in the toolbar, we click on the little hammer. Up comes the control panel, and we click on waveforms. We want to click the data with thick lines, a little check there. We change the font to Arial. I bump it up to 14 and I have bold. That way it always prints out clearly and you should be able to read it in the back of the room. Maybe you'll do different things for written documentation, but this is more for PowerPoint. Now we also, in drafting for our schematics, we need to set some things, and we click on the drafting tab and we change the font to Arial. I like to use 30 and I like to do bold, and you just press OK. I'm not quite sure if you'll have to redo these each time on the class computers. Now, how to present your work. You need to enter your schematic neatly and label the nodes to make debugging easier. So here I've added node 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes you're going to use next, ref or letters, but when you run the simulation, you'll be able to see which node is doing what. Try to keep it compact so that you can, when you zoom in, you can read each label of what it is. You can see the symbol and I can see the value. And you want to add text. In the toolbar, you go to edit text and put your name and whatever the problem it is. And this will avoid confusion or maybe the appearance that you haven't done your own work. All right. To add a line, you do Control M at the same time in the text editor, and it'll give you another line. If you press enter, it'll just go right back into text placement. Now, grabbing your image, I like to use Snagit. You want to buy it, go for it. There's other tools out there, but there is a tool that right in ltspice where you can copy the the image of the screen that you're working with right to the clipboard. All right. Now the thing is, you want to scale this image before you grab the image. In this case, I've actually grabbed more than what the tool will grab, just to give you an idea that notice there's all this white space. So when I go to Tools, Copy Image to Bitboard, Clipboard, all this white space will be put down on my figure 2, and it could cover things up. A much better way is to scale it before you grab it. So again, this is a screen grab of everything I was working on, and I shrank the figure to a size that I wanted, and see now there's no white space hanging around it. Then I go to Tools, Copy Image to the Clipboard, and then stamp it down right into PowerPoint or Word or whatever program you want. Now there's a few hints. When you're scaling your pictures, which you'll need to do, because usually when you put it into your word processing or PowerPoint program, the figure will be a lot bigger than you need it to be. Make sure you lock the aspect ratio, because when you scale it, you want it to look nice. Over here on the right, it was kind of smushed, and this just isn't professional looking. Yes, I can read it, but it doesn't look good on a poster. And that's it.